a mean joke at somebody, then that's like the core to
No,
the
but we're
president
not the
of the
people who
United
get outraged
States'
over
entire
jokes.
ethos.
It's you guys who get
like the
outraged
president of the
over
United
jokes.
States
That's the difference.
made it. Excuse me, Dave?
Tim, the difference is that we are not the people who get outraged over every joke and every word and every sort of innuendo. It's you guys
I'm
who
glad.
do.
Well, so good.
So I'm not outraged at the joke. I'm outraged at the fact that a human rights campaign fundraiser.
On Piers Morgan Uncensored, commentator Dave Rubin appeared alongside political analyst Tim Miller. Before a single policy argument was made, the original narrator framed the interaction as if Dave Rubin had already won, focusing not on ideas but on emotional tone and physical expression. What this reveals: when someone starts a political discussion by attacking a person instead of their argument, the goal usually isn't truth. It's about creating sides and making viewers choose who to root for. A democracy requires debate, not personal takedowns.
But who, of course, is wheelchair bound. Let's take a listen.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot-ass mess, honey.
Tim, not only did she make a crass, repulsive jibe about the fact that Greg Abbott is a disabled man in a wheelchair, and that is clearly indisputable in my eyes, she then did this. She issued a statement saying, "I wasn't thinking about the governor's condition. I was thinking about the planes, trains and automobiles he used to transfer migrants into communities led by black mayors, deliberately stoking tension and fear among the most vulnerable." Literally, the next line I said was he was a hot A mess, referencing his terrible policies. At no point did I mention or allude to his condition. So I'm even more appalled that the very people who unequivocally support Trump, a man known for racially insensitive nicknames and mocking those with disabilities, are now outraged. Now, Tim, you're an intelligent human being. You're a fair-minded human being.
Am I?
She's talking utter bullshit, isn't she?
The statement was not necessary or great and obviously untrue. I think she should have just wrote it out with the joke. Everybody can make a judgment about whether they appreciate a joke at Greg Abbott's expense. I find it hard to imagine that my co-panelists from MAGA world are going to start clutching their pearls over somebody making a mean joke at somebody, then that's like the core to the president of the United States' entire ethos.
It's you guys who get outraged over jokes. That's the difference.
Made it. Excuse me, Dave?
Tim, the difference is that we are not the people who get outraged over every joke and every word and every sort of innuendo. It's you guys
I'm
who
glad.
do.
Well, so good.
So I'm not outraged at the joke. I'm outraged at the fact that a human rights campaign fundraiser, where it's about all the marginalized people and the perceived oppression of the trans people and everything else, that there she's making a joke about disabled people and they're laughing about it. I'm not outraged at the joke. I make far worse jokes than that on my show every single day.
I mean, let me bring in...
During the exchange, Dave Rubin claimed that Donald Trump would never joke about disabilities. Rubin acknowledged that Trump sometimes comments on appearance, but said that mocking someone's disability would be, in Rubin's words, classless and disgusting. Tim Miller, positioned in opposition, is treated as the defender of claims about Trump mocking disabilities, even though Tim Miller's full reasoning is never played. Piers Morgan, as host, allows both sides a platform but shapes how viewers perceive what is acceptable debate culture. The civic takeaway: standards of acceptable behavior cannot change based on whether you support the person being discussed. Accountability must apply to everyone equally.
Accident kind of thin there. So we're going to pretend to be outraged about her joke when the president of the United States core brand is making these sort of jokes. So I wouldn't, if I was her, I wouldn't have put out the statement afterwards. If it's me, I don't know. I think that Dave's kind of...
The narrator repeats Dave Rubin's defense of Donald Trump, emphasizing that Trump doesn't do disability mockery. Trump may insult appearance, Rubin says, but disability mockery is beyond the line. This framing is important because when leaders' behavior is discussed and certain actions are declared impossible, audiences are encouraged to treat criticism as exaggeration rather than evidence-based debate. For democracy to work, voters must evaluate claims based on facts, not personality defense.
This model over there, I don't take money from any Russian assets. Like, that's just me. So I'm able to just kind of say what I really think on here with Dave. You never know. So I understand why he might not, he might want to pick his spots.
All right. Well, let me bring in.
That's some great work you're doing at Bulwark, a real solid place of journalism over there.
Well, we haven't taken any money from the Russians at the Bulwark, Piers. I don't know if you know this, but Dave took $400,000 per month from a Russian information operation. And so you'd understand why.
And what was the name of the show that I did for the Russians? Tell me that.
Right now is just handing things over to the Russians. That he has to pretend to be outraged about things. You don't know who's paying the bill.
What was the name of the show I did for the Russians, champ?
It was Tenet Media that paid you. Tenet Media.
What was the name of the show?
Right? $400,000 per month and a $100,000 signing bonus. That not you?
Yeah, you just literally don't know what you're talking about. Which is standard. You work for MSNBC and the Bulwark. It's impressive.
All right,
okay, so let's try you then. You
As the exchange continues on Piers Morgan Uncensored, the narrator shifts attention to the third participant seated between Dave Rubin and Tim Miller. His political identity is never actually stated, yet the narrator assumes he isn't right-wing. That assumption matters, because it reflects a larger pattern in political media. Before someone even speaks, they are often assigned a label. And once a label is attached, everything they say gets filtered through that assumption. This style of debate encourages audiences to listen for confirmation, not for understanding. When political conversation becomes a team sport, facts lose value and identity becomes the entire argument. Later, Bill Maher is mentioned as an example, someone who criticizes the political left, yet frequently adds criticism of Donald Trump to balance his comments. The narrator expresses frustration, suggesting that people should be able to call out problems on one side without immediately referencing Trump, as if criticism must always be equalized. But here's the deeper democratic insight. A healthy public square requires space where a critique can stand on its own. You can challenge the left without proving you dislike Trump. You can question Trump without proving you're a Democrat. Freedom of speech loses power when every opinion must come with a disclaimer.
Commentator one in that indictment there, Dave? That wasn't you?
Yeah, I was commentator one. It was nice to read something honest about me, that I did all my due diligence trying to figure out what was going on over there. What was the name of the show? Tell me about the propaganda I put out there.
What was the name of the show that was paying you? Tenet Media was a Russian. What was the name of the show? An RT cutout.
Yeah.
It was a Russian cutout.
What you're talking about.
An RT cutout. They were paying you. I've never been paid by a Russian cutout, so I don't exactly know how it all works.
You're paid by MSNBC, which is state-owned propaganda. You're paid by the Bulwark, which should be just called bullshit. That would be a better name of the network. Whatever the hell it is you people are doing over there.
Could I jump in on the topic?
What was the name of the show that I did? What was the name? You don't know.
I've told you several times,
because you don't know what you're saying. Very impressive.
Let me wrestle things back. Time out. Let's wrestle things back to the actual.
I'd rather talk about Jasmine Crockett's eyelashes.
Let's talk about Jasmine Crockett. I want to bring in Jake here. I mean, Jake, presumably you would condemn both the joke and the statement that was obviously a pack of lies.
Yeah, Piers, I agree with Tim that the outrage Olympics is a little tiresome and rings hollow. I also am an elected official, and I know that what is communicated is not what is said, it's what is heard. And what was heard from her statement did strike me as reflecting the governor's disability. And I don't think that's funny. And that's rule number 1A as a politician, is if you're going to make fun of somebody, make fun of yourself. That's what's actually going to get laughs. So I don't think it was an acceptable statement. And I don't think it's acceptable when Trump mocks people with disabilities. I don't want to see Democratic politicians.
Toward the end, the narrator urges viewers to react to what they call Dave Rubin annihilating Tim Miller on Piers Morgan Uncensored, specifically regarding whether mocking disabled people is ever acceptable. But that phrasing, annihilating, destroying, winning, reveals something important about modern political media. It treats debate like entertainment. It trains viewers to root for moments, not understand arguments. It rewards whoever speaks the loudest, not whoever offers the most truth. A healthier question for viewers, and for democracy, is not, who won this moment? It is, did anything said today help us think more clearly about ethics, leadership, and power? If public debate only teaches us to cheer for victory, we lose the ability to demand solutions. If we only watch politics for conflict, we forget politics is supposed to solve problems that affect real people. So instead of ending with a scoreboard, this rewrite ends with a choice. Do you want politics to feel like a game or a place where voices lead to progress?